Good morning. My name is Lesley, and today I'm going to give my persuasive speech, and it is entitled Trash Talk: Reduce, Reuse, and Recycle. Americans love trash. Trash is also referred to as municipal solid waste, and that consists of non-hazardous items that we use and discard. A couple of examples of municipal solid waste are yard clippings, the food that we throw away, computers, sofas. Those are just a few examples. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, in 2010, we generated 250 million tons of trash. That comes to about 4.43 pounds of trash per person per day in the United States. What happens to all that trash? It's estimated that 34% of it is recycled, 12% is combusted for energy use, and 54% ends up in landfills. The latter is problematic and must be addressed. Up until 1976, most local communities just dumped their trash in a place we called a dump. And a dump was basically a man-made hole in the ground. There was no thought given to decomposition and how that might affect the environment. It was not until 1976, when legislation was passed, that dumps finally were no more. They were replaced with new mega facilities called landfills. A landfill, by definition, is an engineered area where waste is put into the ground. Municipal solid waste landfills receive all types of trash, from our household trash to construction debris and non-hazardous sludge. They do not accept household hazardous materials such as oil, lawn pesticides, and paint. Landfills must follow federal guidelines, and a few of those are as follows. There are location restrictions. They cannot be in a geographical area that is not conducive to putting waste in the ground. They require composite liners around the trash so that it reduces seepage into the soil and the groundwater supply. They must have operating practices that protect the public, such as spreading a soil over the garbage to reduce smell and to keep rodents and insects at bay. And they must have corrective actions in place, or safety measures, in case there is an emergency. Now, all of these requirements give you the warm fuzzies, don't they? According to the EPA in 2009, there were over 1,900 municipal solid waste landfills in the United States. While the number of landfills has decreased over time, the size of them are increasing. And the problem with this is that cities and communities across the countries are having to truck their trash to these facilities. New York, for instance, not only gets rid of waste in their state, but they ship it to 5 other states, as far away as South Carolina. This in turn causes more pollution, and it consumes a considerable amount of fossil fuels. According to the latest statistics released by the EPA, organic material such as paper accounts for 29% of municipal solid waste, and things such as food scraps and yard waste accounts for 27%. Now, one would think that these items would decompose rather quickly, being organic. However, a decade-long study called the Garbage Project made surprising discoveries, one being that organic material does not decompose rapidly in a landfill setting. Over the course of the project, over 2,400 readable newspapers were excavated from landfills. They had been entombed from anywhere from 5 to 40 years. So when they were brought up, you could still read the dates and articles on the actual newspapers. Project participants were also amazed to find intact heads of lettuce and carrots that had been in the garbage dump for decades. The study also found that a considerable amount of raw organics, such as food and yard waste, can take up to 15 years to decompose. The practice of covering the trash every day so that it eliminates the smell and keeps the rodents at bay, that creates a nearly oxygen-free environment, and that's what slows down the decomposition. This also creates methane gas, which can stay in the atmosphere up to 15 years. And it also keeps the heat trapped closer to the earth, which gives us the effect that is known as the greenhouse effect. So how can we cut down on the amount of trash that ultimately ends up in landfills? We can focus on the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. The first is reduce. We use fewer resources. And this can be done by simply turning off the water when you brush your teeth or turning off a light when you leave a room. You can stop subscribing to the theory that more is better, which we all love in America. You don't want to overbuy where things eventually get out of date and you have to throw them out before you use them. And you can choose electronics and appliances that are more energy efficient. You may have to spend a little more, but they will last longer, ultimately keeping them out of landfills. Second, you can reuse. A good place to start is by recycling the water bottles and replacing them with a reusable bottle. You can also take your bags with you to the grocery store instead of opting for paper or plastic. Most anything can be reused. You can send your appliances, your clothing, or electronics to Goodwill or a place of your choice. And third, is recycle. Many communities offer curbside recycling. If yours doesn't, then call and find out if that can be started. If it can't be instituted in your community, you can still recycle. You can take trash bags to the grocery store. They all have places that you can recycle, places you can drop off. For your dry cleaners, you can recycle your hangers and your dry cleaning bags. Many schools take paper products such as newspapers and magazines. In closing, reducing, reusing, and recycling can substantially cut down what ends up in landfills. We can conserve energy, cut down on greenhouse gas emissions, and finally we can reap the economic benefits brought on by recycling. They generate substantial income and tax revenues, and they provide employment. So perhaps the best benefits of all are better health and cleaner environment. Thank you.